Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Crashcart Nursing. I'm Nick McAllister here with Courtney Wong, and today we've got a special guest. He's a super viral nurse and really funny content on Facebook, on TikTok. I've been following him for years. Really excited to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Evers.
Hey.
Welcome, Josh. Hey.
Thank you.
Welcome, Josh. Woo! This is exciting.
That sounded really good. That was a great intro.
I'm super pumped to have you here, man. I've been following you for a really long time, actually. I feel like since like 2021, maybe 20, but I have loved watching your content and getting to kind of know you through the internet. So what a strange place TikTok is, and what a strange place the internet is, that we meet up with these people that are nurses that are like-minded in so many ways, and yet I still don't know you. So I'm really excited to get to know you today.
It's a community. You do get to know a lot of people. I started in 2020, and you meet people through there. You end up having friends on the internet. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Remember back when the internet started? I think you're at least as old as me, probably younger. I don't know. You look better than me. You probably remember, though, back to the beginnings, and we always told don't meet somebody on the internet, and now you literally like DoorDash somebody to your house to deliver you something.
Yes, every day.
Multiple times if we're feeling rich.
Actually.
You're in Oklahoma, right, Josh?
Yeah, how'd you know that? No.
I stalk you.
I have people that see me in the street and they're like, I knew you worked at, and they'll say my hospital. And I'll say, how did you know that? And they're like, context clues. And I'm like, okay.
Man.
So,
Man.
It's kind of creepy,
Yeah. What's
I don't
that
know.
like? Just to be out there and then have someone come up to you and say that. Is that like kind of surreal, or what's that experience like?
I'll get nervous. I'll get super embarrassed every single time. And it always happens when we're on vacation, which I love that because then my wife gets to see it. So it'll happen if we're at like a water park or, anywhere I'm like nice and sweaty and wearing my
Naturally
adult male swimming shirt. Buc-ee's, Silver Dollar City, but it's cool. I love it. It makes my day every single time. And I'll go to a patient's house and their grandkids or something will know me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
It is
really
weird.
cool.
But then
That's
when
really
you
cool.
do that, when you go into someone's house and they know you, first you got to feel like you're on. You got to be funny, and then you also have to like act like a real nurse too. So it's nerve-wracking, but it's cool. I love it.
That is awesome. How does your family feel about that? Like, it sounds like your wife's super proud of you, but like, does it feel like, is it like weird for people to recognize you in public?
She thinks I have a big head. So we were talking about having friends on, TikTok or whatever, Facebook, wherever. I love talking to people, and I'm not going to name any names, but I got some influencer friends, and I love talking to them about it because my wife is done hearing about it. And I understand that, I'm like, hey, and I start talking about like this certain video and this trend, and it's like, but I'm thinking about doing this. And she's like, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's fine. But, and all the technical stuff that goes along with it, but it's fun. I've thought about that. I've thought about making a whole channel talking about like being a creator, but then there's a million of those. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you know what they say though, Josh? Behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes. So,
yeah. My wife says that her eyes hurt.
Oh my gosh. Permanently rolled back.
What do your kids think about it? Do they think it's cool that you're an influencer, or are they kind of like cringy? I don't know how old your kids are.
My youngest son, he wants to do it. One of his many dreams is to be a streamer, and he loves IShowSpeed and all those guys. And he wants to play games. He is very good at like Fortnite and Roblox and all that kind of stuff. And he's made some videos, and he thinks he has a lot more videos out than he does. In no way do I have time to do all that editing. So he's got a lot of videos, but he's got a few online. And if you want to, I don't know. I guess I can't advertise him, but he's 8 years old. Anyway, never mind. You
can if you want. You do,
Yeah.
Josh. But I mean, like, I'm not gonna be out endorsing minors just because that, not really a good look.
But yes, he will. I'll hear him talking to his friends about this and that, and he tells people I've had like 1 billion views, which I think is about right. And I think he's proud. But then if I ask him, I'll say, do you think it's cool that I did this? And look at this. And he'll always kind of give me the cold shoulder because he's way cooler than I'll ever be. He's a football star.
Oh, that's awesome.
Amazing at everything he does. You know, I heard something the other day that said, like, only your parents want you to be better than them. Like, but I definitely am proud of him being better than me at everything he does, and he is. So,
well, I'll just tell you from like
cool.
one dad to another, one of the things that comes through on your page is that you love your family and you care about your family. And I think that's a really, really important quality, you know, because I mean, obviously as a father, like we want to model how to be a good man, right, to your kids, like how to be a good father, how to be present, how to do all those things. I was watching one of your videos the other day, and it was you've got the stink bomb sign in the background, and it actually made me smile because as soon as you started the video, I'm like, he's totally talking about his own house and his own kids. Okay. And I was dying laughing because I'm like, what better way to show them that you're a good dad? You care about them, but you also make fun of them. There's goodness there in that teasing, you know, that's just kind of good fatherhood traits, right? So, and if your kids aren't rolling your eyes at them, you're probably not being cringeworthy, dad jokey enough, right? So it comes through, and I like it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. I love messing with him, messing with his friends. You know, that's one of the perks, the benefits of being a dad. Grew up, I wanted to be a lot of things. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. I wanted to be a scientist, a biologist. I wanted to be Steve Irwin. I wanted to be like on Jackass. I wanted to do a bunch of stuff. And then I never wanted to be a nurse, but ends up like my favorite thing is being a husband and a dad for sure. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Most important. I know. Yeah. But no, seriously, it's the best.
Yeah, it's crazy because you're right. We don't really know what we're going to be. And like, even with our kids, we don't know where our kids are going to be. And they're going to have all these different dreams that might go off in crazy different directions. And seeing who they become is like, that's such the journey. That's fatherhood. And that's awesome.
I make it a rule. I never ask him what he wants to be. And I don't know why. But in my head, I keep wanting to say it. And I never ask because I want him to tell me. I don't want it to be like, influenced at all because most people don't get to be what they want to be. Hopefully he can. My other son, we're just talking about one of them. My other son, Camden, he's 10 years old. He has autism. I don't know what range they call him now. He was the higher range, but due to being nonverbal, but he is partial verbal, not non-conversational now. Okay. Doing really well. Going to some general classes and stuff, so doing really well. Yeah. He also could be anything. He has some superpowers. Have you ever heard of hyperlexia? He taught himself how to read and write. No one taught him. He just did it. I remember talking to the doctor about that. I was like, he knows how to pick the episodes like on like Mickey Mouse or something like that. This is when he's like 4. He knows how to pick which ones that he wants to see. And she's like, yeah, it's hyperlexia. He taught himself how to read. And I go, I think he's just memorized the way the letters look. And she said, yeah, that's what reading is. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess so. Anyway. 2 great kids, got a wonderful wife. I feel bad like I'm bragging. My life is great.
No, we love it. Is she a nurse too?
No, she's she did work in healthcare. She did surgery scheduling and she was a surge tech for a little while. And she loves surgery, but it's a very emotional job. I won't get too much into it, but surgeons can be harsh sometimes. And
yeah.
Anyway,
I worked ortho trauma. I get it.
Yeah.
First doctor ever yelled at me was a surgeon.
Me too. His name was Doctor. No, but yeah, me too. And I was training and had literally just walked in, and we had paper charts back then, and I'm just sitting there looking at the paper charts, and this guy just starts yelling at me, some big buff dude, and I was like, who is this guy? And they're like, oh. And then I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't. And then he felt I looked so pathetic. He just apologized, you know. So he's
that's
like,
so
I'm
nice
sorry.
of him.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You got a progressive new doctor, man. The old school ones didn't apologize, you know.
Yeah, this one just made his way
want to.
Down the nurses and yelled at all of us in morning rounds.
You really look like me. Like I can't stop thinking about it. But
I know. Like, I feel kind of left out.
Yeah.
I don't look like anyone.
You're like a manlier version.
A man. I don't know why you say manlier.
Like if I got bit by a radioactive lumberjack, I'd turn into you.
That's awesome. That's a quote right there.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I'm going to put that on a t-shirt for you. Man.
Okay.
Now try to think of some more.
Yeah.
Well,
That's going to be all of our clips. They're just your one-liners. We're just going to use it.
I love it. So you mentioned you didn't really think that you would ever get into nursing. That wasn't kind of your plan growing up. You wanted to do all these other adventure-y kind of things, be Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter. I would love to see you do a reenactment of that. I think that you could actually rock the UPS uniform in all khakis and jump on top of some kind of... Do they have gators in Oklahoma?
Southern Oklahoma. There's my guy right there. Yeah. That was actually my wedding cake, my groomsman cake.
Did you really? That is. I may just have to send you a khaki pair of shorts and a khaki collared shirt just so you can reenact.
Do it like someone coming into the ED.
No, do what?
Do it like you're the patient coming into the ED, too.
I did my best Steve Irwin impersonation. I got my armpit off.
You don't hear very many people that can do a good Steve Irwin. He's got a special voice.
It's true. Crikey.
Yeah. You can do an Australian accent, but it doesn't sound like Steve Irwin.
That's true. Nobody is Steve Irwin, man. That guy, he was awesome.
You know who is his son.
His son looks just like him.
And beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember my wife, I don't even know if she remembers this. We were watching, I used to rewatch Crocodile Hunter. I had VHS tapes, and I just rewatch them over and over. Like I loved it so much, and we were watching something. I was like, oh my goodness, I know this word for word. And I was like saying it, and she's watching it, and she goes, now that's a man right there. And I go, what'd you say? And I'm like, oh, I feel the same way. You know, like I was like Steve's Greatest Adventures, and I used to wear those tapes out.
It was good stuff, man. Like that dude, he was just a good quality human being.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, Steve Irwin was like the first reality star because those were real shows. Like he wasn't acting. Even part of his movie was real. Like they're like, here, he's Steve Irwin. You know, it's like, just do you. And they showed, I watched like the behind the scenes Collision Course.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin, you ever see that movie?
I think I did. And he wasn't doing, like, these were not staged things in zoos. He's, like, out in the safari.
The only staged show that he had was the kids show.
Yeah.
That came on Animal Planet or Discovery Kids or whatever, little few seasons of that.
Just go out there and attack him, man. Like, and he wasn't even attacking him. He's just like, what a beauty. And, like,
he's just showing his life. He was... Yeah. So, I mean, you've probably seen the pictures. It's like Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers, and Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
And it's like those three in heaven. And it's like, yeah, that's true. They're like the great three. That's like a Mount Rushmore of just good people that change the world. I think
love watching Bob Ross, too.
On there. I don't want to throw another PBS on there, but LeVar Burton could be on there, too. Reading Rainbow. Man, I'm getting tingles over here. That's good stuff. Like,
when I was a bachelor, we would go and we would watch Bob Ross. We'd record it on our TiVo. So you got like 4 single bachelors hanging out on a Friday night. This was peak manhood right here. On a Friday night, sitting down, watching a 30-minute episode of Bob Ross, taking a blank canvas and turning it into something beautiful in 30 minutes, unedited, on PBS. Yeah. Like, it's amazing.
And imagine if he was that. I mean, once again, that's like before. I don't know how long ASMR's been around, but that was like the original ASMR, with the brush and scraping the canvas, and you're like, you feel it, you hear it, you see it. He's beautiful.
His voice was ASMR.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, yeah.
It's like
it's real calm and
a little bush right over here.
Little buddy or talking about adding a little raccoon or something. What did he do?
Yeah.
Oh, Happy Bush. So
Happy bush, happy little tree.
Yeah.
And he do you remember there would be little clips of him and he would be like out feeding like squirrels or raccoons or something? I need to look at the camera. Sorry. Yeah, I keep looking at
fine,
you.
Man. You're totally
I'm just looking at my younger brother. Just a manlier me is what I'm saying. Did you know that all your testosterone throughout your life like your natural testosterone, not like cheating, comes from when you're in the womb. That's when it's determined. So it doesn't matter what you do later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women. Fuck the world.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We're the best.
My buddy went and got testosterone and lost all his chub and started growing a cool beard. And I'm like, dang, I want to do that. And so I went, and they wouldn't give it to me.
Why not?
So,
Really? Why not?
You weren't low.
You have to be like low enough or whatever. I mean, you could go to you can go to one of those stores that sells weed and testosterone.
Yeah.
They're next to a storage unit. Yeah.
A bunch of money, though. It's crazy.
You can do that, but then that's dangerous because,
Yeah.
I mean, you read the side effects and
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chubby.
Yeah. You talked about this when I saw your post, and you were saying you need somebody to interview you. You said, talk to me about how I failed on Ozempic, or how you gained weight on Ozempic. Is that true facts, or is that what happened there?
I did. I'm trying it again, actually. Yeah, it worked at first. Apparently it's not as effective as everybody wants you to think, and I guess it works better for celebrities. I don't know, but it's
with the personal trainer who can kick their ass and tell them not to eat.
Or you're getting ready for a Marvel movie or something.
Yeah.
No, it's a much lower percentage of people. The average person actually loses 20 to 30 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
And I actually did that. I didn't realize. I'm a very fluctuating weight. Like I used to, like in high school, I weighed 180 pounds, and then by the time I was like 21, start drinking beers, and I worked at a burger restaurant, and that's what I ate, beers and burgers, and I was 350 pounds for like 2 years.
I was gonna say that's a weight gain diet right there. Like, I can relate to that diet.
And I went from, I skateboarded, I played basketball with my buddies, we did a lot, and then went from skateboarding everywhere to driving, and then eating like crap. Like my meal, and I used to be able to do it with no problem, but my meal at Subway would be 2 foot-long meatball subs,
holy moly,
bag of chips, and then I get like a 2-liter of Mountain Dew or something. And
I don't think there's a metabolism on Earth
that could handle even
diet.
just the 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
It just broke. Anyway, so 350 pounds, no girlfriends.
Yeah.
So I decided I better start doing something. And then I got buff. I got pretty buff. Benching 265. I deadlift 405.
Wow. Impressive.
100-pound shoulder presses destroyed my body. Seriously, I just did it. Yeah. I lost about 130 pounds in 1 year. So much work. I used to do P90X doubles. I would do P90X in the morning, P90X at night.
P90X was killer.
It was brutal.
I did P90X. I did regular P90 before they even came out with the P90X. That was it's a great workout, it works. And the same with like Insanity, any of these like high intensity interval training, they work, like for sure. They kick your butt. But like anybody who acts like weight loss is just like this super easy thing. Like even like, cause I do a GLP-1, I'm on Mounjaro, and it doesn't just fall off you like you think. Like it does help with food noise a lot. I will say that.
Yeah.
For me, I felt a lot of that food noise go away, but it is, and I started at about 270 and I'm down to 235 right now, trying to get another 30 pounds off, but it's hard. And like, you definitely, it's easy to plateau. And I broke my collarbone last Sunday. So
last Sunday?
Yeah. I had surgery on Tuesday. I don't have my sling on right now because I'm a non-compliant patient, but actually it feels really good, all things considered. But I'm off of drugs, thank God. No more Norco.
How did you break it?
I was dirt biking. We were out riding with the family, and my daughter.
Not 40 yet.
No, my daughter's 12, and she was riding in front of me, and she was on her first bike with a clutch, and she was doing really good. She actually did great. But we kind of like went over this hill and came down, and I came up on her too fast, and she had bogged down in like nothing. And I went to hit my rear brake, and my boot slipped. And I'm like, okay, I can either like hit her at like 35 miles an hour, or I can grab some front brake and man up. So that's what I did, and I went endo and threw my arm straight into the ground, and a 235-pound version of me was apparently more than the 8 pounds of pressure my collarbone could take. So
Yeah. I don't know. They need to do something about collarbones.
yeah.
They're always breaking.
It's a question I have for God when I get to heaven one day. Like, why did this not support more? It seems like
I told you
really
we used to do
faulty
jackass
design.
stuff all the time. So we would, run into each other, jump off
oh
stuff.
my
And
goodness.
we would do a thing where we would just like run straight into each other as hard as possible. And I broke a kid's collarbone. And he like just was like, I hurt for a while and then went to the doctor like a week later and he's like, oh yeah, it's broke. And I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. He's like, it's cool.
I feel like through that whole Johnny Knoxville jackass stage, like it was just everybody thought it was fun, but like those guys got like deathly harmed. Like, I mean, really, really badly harmed by different stuff.
Dude, I got maced, stun gunned. I jumped off of a bridge onto a train, a moving train, like a superhero. We don't have video of any of this either.
Yeah.
That's probably all I can really say right now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Statute of limitations is out, Josh. You're good.
Yeah.
That's
we
true.
had vastly different childhoods because I was not jumping on top of trains as a child.
This was like when I was like 17 years old. I think like was the majority of this stuff. I had a pretty like I went to a private Christian school. Okay, I grew up a church kid. You're from the Bible Belt, so like you know what's up, Josh. I grew up in a very religious home. Like everything was good. Like we were good people all the time. I say that loosely. Yet I filmed a show called Smackass, and I was Nico, and my buddy was Mikey Coxville, and there was all kinds of horrible things that happened. But fortunately, that was pre-internet days, so none of the footage is out there. It was all on a high-8 video camera, and I think if our parents had seen it, they would have had an exorcism or something.
We bummed money at school one time, and I think this is a true story. Somebody's going to hear this that knows me and say, none of that's true. I'm going to need someone else actually to write my biography for me because I don't remember anything. But we would bum money at school, and we were doing it to get like a limo or something. It was like GoFundMe before GoFundMe. We would bum money around the cafeteria. It's like, I'll do something silly. I'll do something funny. Give us some change or whatever.
Yeah.
So we ended up bumming enough money that one time I was bumming money to buy a Spider-Man costume, and I have no idea why. We ended up buying a video camera with some of the money, and then that was it. And I can't say what our name was. And yeah,
I love it.
We did the same thing.
I think that it was just the time, like, I mean, and kids do stupid things. Fortunately, you and I, we made it out alive from our jackass extravaganzas in the past.
And then you break your collarbone at 39.
Exactly.
I've never broken a bone ever in my entire life.
I broke my leg playing football, but it was just a small crack. And this one was like displaced in 3 different places and pain with any movement. So it's definitely a different side of the bed for me. I've done the emergency medicine, a lot of reductions, a lot of different stuff like that. So it is definitely a different feeling when you're the patient. And for me, it was great. I went back to my ER that I worked at for years and got treated like a king. I mean, as kingly as you can be when you're broken and in the fetal position.
I thought you were an ER nurse. That's whatever you just told me today that you were a teacher.
Yeah, I was. So I worked ER for almost 10 years. So
I went from med-surg to doing home health. I'm not much of an adrenaline junkie. I mean, I like roller coasters, but you're literally sitting there waiting for the worst possible thing in the world, emergency room. Like, I love it. Do it.
I love it.
It's good for you because thank God
just
there's people
fast-paced
like
med-surg, Josh. It's just fast-paced med-surg. That's it. Because all those bad things can happen in med-surg too. Somebody can decompensate and go down the hill, right? So it's just like you're just getting them before you have a tag on them, before you know what it is that is wrong with them. So that's kind of the adrenaline pump. Is like it's exciting when you don't know what's going on to try and figure it out. And like I feel like it helped my critical thinking so much going and working in the ER. Like I love it. And then Courtney's the opposite side. She's ICU. Like so, we have this like we have this love-hate relationship because we like see things through like similar lenses, but different at the same time.
Different scopes, yeah.
So
either one. I mean, the only time I did ICU, I did cardiac ICU.
Oh, nice.
As an extern. I didn't work there. I did that for, I think, four day shifts, and I literally just sat there and drank coffee. Like, it was just, either they weren't letting me do anything or there was nothing to do. I don't know. I just sat there. I knew one of the nurses. We had gone to school together, and we just sat there and talked and drank coffee. So that was my ICU experience. And then I remember, I kind of always wanted to do home health, because one of the rotations we did was, community stuff, and we did home health. I went out with this lady. Wherever she worked, they got like a stipend, so they could go out and like buy stuff for the patients. And we did that. Cool. We stopped at the store for them, went out. She's like getting people's mail, and like, it was the coolest. I'm not an adrenaline jockey. I mean, med-surg is too much for me. I'll tell you real quick. I remember during COVID, code. It was like, got all the codes I ever need. I'm good. I remember I was excited for my very first code, and that was the very last code I was ever excited for. That was it.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I remember coming out of one, and the house supervisor was there, and he was like an old combat medic guy. He was amazing. And he goes, hey, good job in there, Josh. I was the charge nurse that night, so I was up at the nurse's station. He's like, good job in there. And I was like, thank you. And he goes, you know what you are? And I was like, what? And he's like, you're a duck. He goes, you look calm on the surface, but underneath you're like this. And I was like, yeah, you got me, dude. That's right. Like, I hate this. I don't even want to be here right now. So that's what it is, I guess.
Codes are
perfect for me.
I think codes for anybody, though, it's like, it's anxiety inducing, right? Because like, you have somebody in front of you who's dead. And so Courtney and I, we both do basic life support training now. It's actually part of the Crashcart business that we're running. Is we do that local training at our school and in our community, and like, it's just so important that people know how to do CPR. But people do feel that way. They feel like chaotic and crazy in those moments. And like, I learned really early in ER medicine that like, calm is not something that comes naturally. It's something you have to manufacture from within, and that only comes with time, when you've done it so many times that it's like, you just feel confident in what your skill set is, and so you get better and better at it. I've had patients and their family members like screaming at me to like, why are you not reacting the way that I'm reacting? Like, this is an emergency. And I'm like, I know it is. I know it's an emergency.
Yeah,
I am
that's why I'm
100%
like
dialed. I am 100% locked in on what is going on in front of me. And even if inside you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is so uncomfortable.
I've heard that before. Why aren't you taking this seriously? It's like, I am taking it seriously, but someone has to stay calm. Like, you.
Yeah, it does not help me if I match your intensity, right? It's like, that's not helpful for your child or whoever is down, right? It's like, we have to be calm, cool, collected, and just deal. And that's tough, it's really, really tough. And so, and COVID was rough, man. Like, I mean,
COVID was so rough. Yeah.
Like, did you like med-surg a lot more prior to COVID?
Well, yeah. I thought I literally would say, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. And then whatever it was, 3-4 years of COVID. I mean, I won't get into that. It's not fun, but basically started having like panic attacks. Like, I still take Boosterone and stuff, because it was I would come into work, automatically feel sick to my stomach. I would start sweating, just getting report. Same thing every single day. Oh, he came in on room air. Now he's on 2 liters. Oh, we're about to move him to the ice. It's just the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And it's like, now
we're proning them and
paralyzing them because they're not vent compliant. Ours was kind of the same way.
Because
we worked, because I worked in the COVID ICU, actually, as like our entire ICU got turned into. And so like, we were already a 32 bed ICU, but then we ended up having so many like prone paralyzed patients that we actually took over the floor below us too. So we actually ended up being a 64 bed COVID ICU. And ours was the same way. It was like, they came in, they needed oxygen, then they were high flow, and then BiPAP, and then they, got AMS, ripped the BiPAP off, tubed, and now they're all the things. So that was a rough time.
It's either the ICU's full. We got to move into a different hospital if they can. And we didn't have the bed that would turn for you.
What is it called?
Rotaprone.
Rotaprone, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there were certain patients, they would have to go to a different hospital that had that. It was like their sister hospital there. And then it would be, ICU's full, step down's full. We're going to have to keep this intubated patient on your med-surg floor. It's like, okay. I'm just getting weird thinking about it.
Oh, I know, man. I know. It was a whole different thing. And like, there's so much moral injury that happened to nursing in general from it. Like, I feel like, and the mental health stuff is important though. Like you talk about like, having that like still going on things in your heart and in your head and like separating those things. And like, I think it's so important, like that people take care of themselves. One of my good friends, she committed suicide during this whole thing. And she was a nurse. She'd been a nurse forever. And
I'm sorry.
She was this thank you. She's a super amazing lady. And like you look back, I at one point even had taken care of her as a patient because she was worried she had COVID but that COVID was causing moral injury for her and was causing her to feel like that, life was not going to ever turn back to what it was. And I don't know. I think like, not to sound cheesy or anything, but Josh, I think that that's actually one of the cool things that you do with your social media is like making people laugh and making people see like that positive aspect of nursing. It's huge, man. It is like, I think it's so powerful because like the stuff we do is serious, right? It's stuff we do is life threatening. We're dealing with people in their worst day. And even on the home health side, like they're home, but they're not home like they want to be, right? They're home and needing help. But like, if we can make people laugh, if we can make people have a good time, I just think that's such quality of life stuff that's so important. And I hate what COVID did to healthcare. Like I really do. And I hate what it did to like some of the care providers that I know and people who have that moral injury. And, I think it's important that we talk about it, and know that like that was a crappy time for all of us. And I'm glad that we've made it through. And I know there's many who did not. So I guess
we had
thank
to
you.
Shave our beards.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
That was the real tragedy.
That was actually the first COVID video I ever made. And it was something like, COVID, you can do this, you can do that. But, and it was something about, and I revealed my face with no beard. Yeah. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. And yes, I talk to my son. If I ever hear my son saying something negative or, saying something that, could almost be considered like on the bullyish side or something like that, I say, what are we here for? Like, what's our main job? And he'll say it's to make life better for people. Doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're making life better for somebody in some way. And that's what we do. If it means making people laugh, if it means hold a door for somebody or, whatever, as long as you're making life a little better for somebody, that's our job.
Yeah. Just
everybody,
be like
not nurses, everybody.
Just be a good human. I think that stuff is so important. And like, I never really saw myself as a nurse. And it's funny because like, I actually had gone down this whole, like, I was going to be a pastor. I had gone to Bible college and like done all this stuff. I don't know if Courtney even knows this about me.
I didn't even know that.
But so, yeah, like I went to Bible college. I actually moved to Idaho to be a youth pastor. And like, I had all kinds
That's why you talk so well. You got,
oh, thanks.
You got the stage presence or whatever it is.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But I did all of that stuff. And then my son ended up having a heart defect. And so he would be 14 now. He passed away right before his first birthday, 5 days before. He had hypoplastic left heart syndrome. We went to Children's of Seattle for 6 months and then ended up transferring to Children's of Boston. And they worked on him. And, we went from this like 1% chance of survival with his heart defect. And he had Down syndrome. And they're like, we've never had a kid survive through the full palliative surgical pathway. And these parents of these two kids with Down syndrome reached out to us from Boston and said, these are our sons, and they're jumping on a trampoline, which is kind of a miracle just for the fact of like the low neck tone and all the stuff that comes with trisomy 21. And they're jumping on a trampoline, and they're like, these are our two boys, and they had the same heart defect as your son Gabe, and they're like 12 and 13 or something like that. And like it was just like confirmation for us. We're like, we got to go to Boston. So we did everything. We jumped ship, went to Boston, and they fixed our son's heart. Dr. Pedro Del Nido, he's the chief of cardiothoracic surgery there, and he's amazing. Fixed his heart, and then he died of sepsis. And like, it's just like one of those things that changed me forever. You know, like you don't lose a kid and not get changed by it. You don't go through something like that and not have it affect you. So I don't know, like I feel it's funny because like I swear and I'm a little rough around the edges, and like I feel like a shell of the person who I once was. From the faith standpoint, I still have my faith in God and all that stuff, but at the same time I feel like a different person than I was. It feels like a different life. But it's so crazy because I feel like in this job, like we have this ability to really just like minister to people in a different way and like care for humanity in a different way. And whether you're religious or not, I think that transcends the religious side of it, you know, is like just be able to be a good human to other humans and show them what love is and how to take care of somebody. So like to me, it means something. It's powerful.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about all that. And I thank you for sharing that. And wow.
Yeah, I meant to be light and, you know, just jokey with you, but you know, here we go.
I know it happened. Okay.
So after COVID, then you kind of made this transition to home health.
Yes.
Did that feel like liberation for you?
Literally, like walked out the door. The last day that I worked at the hospital, I faked sick to leave. And because I did actually feel had some kind of parasympathetic nervous system thing going on. I wasn't feeling good. You know, my nerves were shot. I was, you know, acting as charge. I was training all the travelers that were there to help with COVID. I was, you know, taking a team, doing everything, working, you know, 4 nights a week, doing all that kind of stuff. And then it got to me. And
you were burnt, man. You were just burnt out.
I was so burnt. I'll never forget afterwards. Well, like I said, literally walking out the door, that day that I walked out the door, and I felt like maybe, and I can still remember the long hallway on the walk out. And I was like, I think maybe I should go to the ER just because of the way I feel instead of going home. But I walked out the door and literally felt it just like gone. And I was like, okay. And I went to my car and I TikToked for a little while, and I went and I got like a Monster and a taquito at the store, at the gas station. Then I went home and I watched Spider-Man 2, and that was it. And then my wife filled out the application for me for the home health job that I'm at now, because someone she knew on Facebook said that they were looking for somebody. She goes, hey, I already filled this out for you. Just go finish the parts that I don't know. And then,
man, I think it sounds like you dodged a bullet. I mean, honestly, I think that like you're having like real physiologic symptoms of things going on. And I guess from the like teaching standpoint for our audience too, is like, if you get to that point in your career where you feel burnt like that, that's the great thing about nursing. You have a million options of things you can do. Like, don't leave the profession.
Yeah.
But like, go find something more chill. Like, it's okay to take a break. You know, it's okay to go do something else in healthcare. And I think
anytime anybody asks me what's a tip for nursing, I'm like, if you don't like where you are, then leave. It doesn't matter if you have to pay the bonus back. If you don't like it, then leave. You can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Get another bonus. No big deal.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. Because, man, you know, we teach a lot of, you know, students who are brand new into healthcare. And I have seen so many of them like take jobs. They're like, I took this job because it was the highest paying job. And I'm like, if it's the highest paying job, there's a reason that it's paying so high. Oh, yeah. And it's because you're about to get your ass beat down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's always a trade-off for money, right? Like,
I remember, so you know why I took my first job on that med-surg floor is because, so whenever we were finishing school, I don't know if they did this for you guys, but they had us give them all the places that we applied we gave it to school, and then school contacted and like talked to the manager and stuff for us. Really cool. And
That is cool.
I was there. We basically had a class over like interviewing and stuff. I was ready to go, and I remember sitting there. She didn't ask any of the questions. She was just asking me like personal stuff. And then the interview is over, and she's like, let's go walk around the halls. And I'm like, okay. And she introduced me to everybody. And I was like, when do I know if I have the job? And she's like, you got the job. I was like, oh, okay. And then she told me how much I would make if I did a weekend night option. And I was like, oh, okay. And the reason I took that job was so I didn't have to go do more interviews. That was it. And so there I was for 7.5 years. And my wife is like, just like, are you crazy? Like, first off, they're paying you this, exactly what you just said. They're paying you this much for a reason. There's something going on. And I'm like, whatever, it'll be fine. I don't know.
I feel like middle of the road is where you want to be for like financials. Like if you're getting paid the top wage, like everybody wants to be at the top, but if you're getting paid the top wage, it's always a trade-off. And then you also don't want to be bottom of the barrel either, because then you're losing money. But like if you can be midway in that salary range, I feel like that's the sweet spot. There's usually good staffing, and you're not getting owned the whole time you're on shift.
If you can do it, the sweet spot is being one of those travel nurses that travel from the suburb to the town. You know
That's
what I mean?
I did during COVID. It was awesome.
Yeah, so
that's what we did
You drove
too.
an hour to work and got.
I drove like 43 minutes to work, and it was I was getting paid $125 an hour for my regular shifts, and then it was like $195 an hour for anything over 36 hours. God. It was awesome.
And you were coming in. I'm sure you were a good nurse when you were doing it too. You weren't just hanging out.
No, I worked. The thing is that when you're traveling, a lot of places, they don't want the travelers to do anything like crazy high acuities.
Right.
They were a trauma center. I didn't get to take the traumas until they had done their like initial once over on everybody. So when they're most acute, they wouldn't come to me. But sometimes they would drop and be like, you got a gunshot wound in this room or whatever that needs everything still. They've had plain films. Good luck, or whatever. But like most of the time it wasn't that. Most of the time you had, pretty decent staffing. But my hospital was so bougie, like with the way that they did it. It was great. Like we just had like the best staffing ever. But they would convert all these travelers would like want to come and work there full time. And I think that that's a really good. You can tell something about a health system if people convert from traveling to full time there. That means something good.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. So we had a. I don't want to give too many details, but we had a traveler, and this man was there for COVID, traveled, I think he was from Florida, as a COVID traveler, couldn't fit the N95, which neither can I. I had to wear a P100 like ventilator because no matter what I did, even if I clean shaved, whatever, my face is too weird for an N95. N95 didn't fit his face, or so he said. He could still smell the chemical.
Yeah.
So he wasn't allowed to take care of COVID patients. He was there as a travel nurse for COVID.
What?
Did they not have like poppers?
He would go to, nothing would work for him.
Like
This dude's a genius, right? He's there getting paid $100 an hour, and they'll send him to the telemetry, and he would go sit in telemetry.
You're like, what on earth, man? He's like got the bougiest gig of all time.
He's the smartest person I've ever met.
I know a guy and his wife. They both just grinded the whole time through COVID. So they went to New York when New York was shut down. $10,000 a week. Then they went to Texas, El Paso, worked there, $10,000 a week, and they just followed the money. And they're like.
And then they get that week in the hotel to chill in between. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they do it together. So they're in the same state. Like they may be at different hospitals or whatever for their assignments, but they were just banking money. And now they own a IV infusion clinic here, and like they're loaded. They bought properties that they're Airbnb-ing in Florida and all kinds of places. But they just chase that money. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have done that. I took like one travel contract, did the local thing. But I was on the crisis pay, so as soon as the wages started coming down, my contract was the first to get cut, And then I went back home. I'm like, I don't really need to go anywhere. So
I knew people doing it too, and I was like, my wife's like, should you do it? And I'm like, first off, you're not gonna take care of the kids by yourself. You'd be miserable. But also, like, I don't want to go die. Like, apparently these hospitals are crazy, like in New York and stuff. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it. Once again, too nerve-wracking for me.
well, that's the thing. I feel like we were kind of shielded a little bit. I mean, we're in Idaho, so like, you know, busy here is different. Like, it's busy, but it's not. We're not a huge metropolitan center. And just so everybody's aware, if you're not from Idaho, Idaho really sucks. Don't move here. Don't come here. It's not nice.
Yeah, it sucks
at
so
all.
bad.
Like, you don't want to live here.
Don't.
All of California moved to Idaho, and we're trying to eliminate that. We don't like it.
Did you? What'd you say? You say people from California are moving there?
Yeah.
Like all of California
like
moved to Idaho.
Oh, okay.
And it sucks. I like Idaho 15 years ago. Now it's like crazy busy. Like we got Phoenix prices and Vegas prices going on around here, and it's like it is not that big.
So the California people are moving there, working like what do you call it?
Remote
They're working
jobs.
like online and keeping their California pay. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what's happening in Oklahoma too. They're getting incentives to move here and do that.
I'll give you a reference. Okay, when I bought my house 9 years ago, I paid $150,000 for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Okay, my house appraised for $650,000 last year. Nothing changed about my house. I live in a 120-year-old house. Nothing changed.
Ooh,
It's a
that's
cool
amazing.
old house, but like,
First off, is it haunted?
I wish.
Yeah, that would be
We do
cool.
have this underneath of our stairs that has a little tiny door, and when we moved here, there was this little plastic chair in there. I'm like, was this like a boo room or like what is this? Like, did this where they put the child? And like, I'm like, all right, we're gonna just pray over the house and like exorcise the demons, man. Like, burn some sage, like whatever we gotta do. Because
120-year-old. I don't think I've ever been. There was a 90-year-old house over by my old neighborhood. Yeah, it's got to be a little bit haunted, according
Probably.
to everything I ever watch.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think we might have scared them away.
But yeah, a little door underneath the stairs.
It's like in the bathroom behind the toilet. Like there's a door. You can't even open the door up all the way. It opens
awesome.
It's like
like
in the
that
wall?
far. Yeah, it
Or it's in
opens
the
like that
floor?
far. Like I can squeeze in between it if I'm like really thinking skinny, but otherwise it's just kind of like a worthless door. But yeah, a little plastic lawn chair in there. I'm like, this is so creepy, man.
Yeah, I like it. I want to go to like all the New England towns and see all the where's this? See all the old houses and like Connecticut.
yeah.
Like everything in Connecticut's haunted. Even the name Connecticut sounds haunted. Yeah, I don't know.
Boston was awesome. When we were there, I was like, that place is lit. I loved it.
Oh yeah,
Boston
like,
is
it's just
really
like so
cool.
much history, and like I'm a big baseball guy, so like going to Fenway Park and like watching games there was amazing. And like I don't know, just like a walking city, I think it's so much cooler. Like we got nothing. We got square buildings here that are ugly. Like there's nothing pretty except the Capitol. The rest of it is all like modern architecture and rich Californians.
Tulsa's pretty artsy. It's got
Is
like it's got like little different districts all around like the downtown area and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
I'll be honest, the only thing I know about Oklahoma is the Oklahoma City bombing, Timothy McVeigh. Like that's like the only thing that I remember from my childhood about Oklahoma.
Yeah, I stayed home sick from school that day. I had a tummy ache, and I was there watching that on the news channel 6 News. I was watching that.
Did your
I had no
parents
idea
think
what
that
was
you
going
were
on.
like a predictor for like crazy things?
What'd you say?
Did your parents think your stomach was like a predictor for crazy events?
I was home with my grandma because we were watching, Price is Right, and Young and the Restless and stuff, and that was interrupting our show. Like that.
Look at that. You were made for long-term care and home health just by your time with your grandma.
I never thought I would be friends with 70, 80, 90-year-old people. It's crazy. You know what I did today? I called in for a patient, and I said that the birthday was like 3/10/23, And the lady on the phone goes, which 23? And I go, oh, yeah, because the patient's over 100 years old. That's the first time I ever did that. It's crazy.
That's awesome. I love that, man. I think, I don't know, like, I just wonder, are we going to have 100-year-old patients in the next 30 years? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a dying breed of old people. They're just tough, man. It's different kind of toughness.
If you're under 50 years old, whenever I watched this TikTok, I don't remember what it was, but you are guaranteed to live over 100 years. They talk about it like this, like, you think about 100 years ago, people lived to this age. Then 20 years later, people lived to 20 years older. Then, you know, it's going to keep going to, like, you know, every 5 years, they add 5 years onto life. To every year, they add another year onto life until basically we just live until we don't want to anymore.
I think crazy.
You know, Stephen Hawking said that, or somebody, some smart guy. No, it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, seriously. He was talking about that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got to ask you, because I want to talk to you about your content a little bit. So I love Janet in your content, and I'm just curious, is Janet a real person?
Is Janet my wife? No. No. Oh, Janet's based on, I'd say, 2 people in real life, yes.
That's awesome.
One was one story that one of the characters, what that they're based on, Janet's based on, is this nurse would, whenever we would hand off and we'd have the same patient for a couple nights in a row, then she would give me a list of all the things that I did wrong the night before. Yeah. And
that's amazing.
It's like I'm not a new nurse. Like, I've been. It's like, okay, and they're all just ridiculous stuff. And
I tried putting an ice pack on her back, and she screamed.
There was in no way was she like any kind of alcoholic or like slutty or any of that kind of stuff that I'd say in the videos. No, she's actually like the most. Both of these people were like the most straight arrow people ever.
Yeah.
Like, what number telemetry is the patient on? And I'm like, I don't know. Look at the box.
They're on telemetry.
Like, yeah.
But were these kind of like those, because you know how every unit has like those older nurses, right? That are the nurses that, yeah, you might want to have if you're looking for an adultier nurse, or were they kind of like the nurses that you just didn't really want to talk to?
If I would have had a choice of someone taking care of like my family member, would I rather have me or the real Janet do it? Definitely the real Janet. Yeah.
I kind of gathered from like all these videos that I've watched about Janet that Janet is this person that's kind of like a little over the top and that's a hilarious story that she would write out the list of everything that you did wrong.
Oh yeah.
But like, take it that she's like this like super analytical, really amazing nurse that like when push comes to shove, Janet is the shit. Like, is that accurate? Mm-hmm.
That would be the real Janet. Yes. The
Yeah.
other one, the one that I really, it's based on. And there's another one who was just kind of like pure evil, and I kind of combined. None of them had like the white trashy like alcoholic stuff, and sleeping around stuff. I just make all that stuff up, but that's just fun. Like the breathalyzer in the car, none of that stuff's real. Like, that's all.
What
just
about there was one I think where you talk about her like Janet's not really going to be helpful tonight because she's quitting smoking.
Oh no, neither one of them smoked. They just So Larry is Larry, and that's even the guy's real name. And I don't worry about that because even if he was watching this right now, he would not know that we were talking about him. Larry was a dude who was like probably like almost 60 years old. He kind of had like Hulk Hogan hair. Like kind of long, silky blonde hair, just looked like a surfer, talked like real cool, and wore basically sunglasses all the time. And I made a video, but I don't think I ever did it about him wearing sunglasses. I don't know if I ever actually. If you saw all the stuff I have wrote down in my phone for these videos, it's crazy. But something about him wearing sunglasses, I can still do that.
I'll look forward to it.
And he was such a crazy guy, and he talked about like smoking weed and just being like he was a surfer, and he was like just a super cool old dude, but he also said a lot of inappropriate things. And he would, I remember we were walking down the hall one time and there was a nurse that was walking in front of us and she was like an attractive lady. And he goes, dang, looking good. And then he looks at me and goes, I can't say that, can I? And I go, no, you can't. Like, what are you doing? Like, he was just seriously like staring at her butt and said she looked good. And I'm like, dude, Larry, like, you're crazy. Then I'm talking to somebody about Larry and they say, Larry has like a master's degree in microbiology. His son is a doctor. This is like this. I'm like, that's, he's wild. Like, he's such a character that I just made him a character.
That's amazing.
He's so funny. Except for like, you don't want to be. I would rather anybody be my family's nurse than him. So I wouldn't trust him with anybody. But he's cool. He would be fun to be around, but not at work. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I always tell my students I have this lady. Her name is Suzanne, and Suzanne was my inspiration all through nursing school. Because Suzanne is like, she speaks like 5 languages. She's super smart lady, okay? Very, very intelligent, book smart. But she's like dumb as a rock when it comes to being a nurse. Like every day, I worked with this woman for 3 years before I was a nurse, and every day felt like Suzanne's first day on shift. Like she forgot everything. Like you give her the same 5 patients back the next day, and she act like she'd never heard anything about them. I'm like, are you like 10-second Tom here? Like, what is going on? Like, I remember this one time, we had a patient, we're in rehab, or inpatient rehab, and I walk into the room, the call light's going off, and this guy has a stable cervical spine fracture, so he's supposed to be wearing an Aspen collar all the time. But he had taken a shower with occupational therapy, and they called and said, hey, it's taken too long. And Suzanne responded to the call light, and she said, can you just help him get the pads changed out because the pads are wet on the collar? So they're Velcro, right? I mean, literally put them on with Velcro. And so she goes, well, I'm not really sure how to do it. And she's like, it's really not a big deal. Well, so the call light keeps going off, and so I finally get around to answering the call light. I go in there. And Suzanne's not in the room, and the guy is sitting there holding his own C-spine, sitting up in a recliner. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, that crazy nurse just left me here.
Wow.
She couldn't figure out how to put the Velcro on. So I like lay him flat, hold C-spine like on. I'm like, oh my God. Like he's like, I'm getting tired. I can't do this. I'm like, I don't think this is effective anyway. I could not believe it. So I changed out. Yeah, I change out the pads and I go out and I'm like, I'm at the nurse's station. I'm like, Suzanne, what the hell just happened with this patient? And she's like, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm like, so you left him holding his own C-spine? Like, what are you thinking? I'm like, it's Velcro front and back, not too much pressure, 2 finger breaths, like not too tight, not too loose. Come on.
So you've trained people and you do that for a living now, so
yes.
But yeah, it's like sometimes you're like, I always, no matter what, I feel like I'm usually the weakest link. Like at my job right now, if I had a choice, I would probably want any other nurse that works with us to be my family member's nurse than me. I feel like the weakest link. Where I work is amazing. Anyway,
I don't think that's true.
I don't always, and that's what everybody says, but I don't always feel like I'm like the most competent either. Like, I got a lot to work on. You always learn stuff, but then you train people and you're like, oh my goodness, like there's no way. Like I would train a nurse. I would train someone who'd been a nurse for 20 years, like train them for our floor. And I'm like, how have you been a nurse this long? Like, this is crazy. And
I'm telling you, that's why Suzanne was my inspiration, Josh. I'd just be like, if Suzanne can do this, I can do this. I can pass the NCLEX. If she can pass it, I can pass it. If she can get through clinicals, I can get through clinicals, because that lady doesn't know anything. Like I said, she's actually super smart, book smart, but book smarts and real smarts don't always correlate.
Totally different.
I knew someone who was in nursing school who I did not think was going to pass nursing school, who, if you want to, he can be your doctor now. Isn't that crazy?
Well,
just zoomed on past.
the medical side of things and nursing side of it too are different thought patterns, you know.
It is. I went into nursing school. I thought it was going to be my strong points, the math, the science, you know, all that kind of stuff. You get in nursing school, it's basically a giant humanities class. It's really, you know, it's a lot of opinion, a lot of like, what's the best of these two possible. And it's like, give me a
therapeutic communication
right answer. Like, I need a math problem where there's a right answer. Like, I can't do this. So I went into nursing school thinking I was smart, and they showed me.
Yeah, you know, I had a girl that graduated that she was a doctor in her own country before she moved to the States. She moved with her husband, and she was in her residency, but she hadn't finished her residency yet, so they wouldn't honor her license when she came to the U.S.
Right.
And so she, rather than going back for like 6 months or a year or whatever she needed to do to finish it out, she just decided to go to school to become an LPN. So she was like the most highly overeducated LPN of all time. Like this lady could have taught every lecture. Like, I'm like, why am I teaching you stuff? I'm not that smart, you know, like the whole time. But I asked her when she graduated, I'm like, did you actually learn anything from us? Like, did I add any value to your education? And she goes, I learned so much. She goes, because you realize in medical school how we learn this like diagnostic pathway. We learn this critical thinking about labs and stuff like that and how all that's interrelated. But she's like, we don't learn about people. We don't learn how to take care of a human. And that's nursing. So I thought, I'm like, wow, okay, so we can add value. That's cool. And I think that's why our specialty is so different and why it's so needed, because you got to be able to treat the people underlying their diseases.
Whenever I was trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do, there's a documentary. It's like a PBS documentary about, like, I don't know, a dozen or so Harvard medical students. And let me know if you've seen this. It's a crazy documentary. It goes through their whole school career. Like, everyone that was married got divorced. Their life changed so much from the beginning of school to the end. And then some of them ended up not being doctors. It's so crazy what they go through. I remember one thing that I'll never forget was the guy that had the little clock that he would set, and he wouldn't get up or do anything. He would study for 12 hours every single day. And he would set an alarm or set his clock. If he had to get up and pee, he'd pause it so that he would finish the full 12 hours. It's like, this stuff's crazy. And this one doctor, he really, really wanted to be an ER doctor, and he was terrible. And he kept going from ER to ER. And it was a pretty depressing show, actually. Like I said, everybody that had a wife or a girlfriend got divorced or got remarried and divorced again. Like, it was, there's no way I could have gone through medical school. That was for a split second, I thought about doing that. Yeah.
I thought about it too at one point. I just, like, sometimes I kick myself. I'm like, maybe I should have. But at the same time, I'm like, I like what I do. I like the impact that we have. I just, you know, sometimes you wonder if that paycheck would have been so much nicer.
I was told literally Sunday by a doctor that a lot of the time it's not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you were doing your travel, you were making more than any of the doctors were giving you orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had somebody leave their either paycheck or W-2 or something like that. They left that up on the screen one time, and everybody just like looking at it. And one of the hospitalists that was there that night, they're like, they make more than me, and just they're just straight right there, like whatever that person was making, like $120 an hour or whatever. It's like, the hospitalist is making like $75 an hour. So I don't know.
We figured out the hack for our health system was, it's not to be full time. The hack is actually to be a 0.6 FTE. So you do work 2 days a week. And if you do that, then you pick up the rest because they get benefits. And then it's anything over your FTE, I think, is overtime is how it works. And they qualify for the like special staffing bonus things.
Oh yeah.
And so like my buddy, he's done it for years and he's maxed out and like everything on the pay scale. And like during COVID, like he's a 0.6 FTE, he'd work 4 or 5 days a week, and he's making, $250,000 a year. Like, it's pretty
I
dang
remember
good.
when I first started, and I'm talking to this lady who, the opposite side of that, she would work 14 days on and then take like 2 days off. And I'd never seen anything like it, but she would get like $25,000 paychecks. It's just like, that's freaking wild.
That's
like,
insane.
I'm never going to do that. And then you always have this, like you're talking to your spouse or whatever, it's like, we want to save up for this. And it's like, oh, well, I just better start working 5 days a week for a little while. And then you never do it.
It's math calculation right there of like, how many shifts before I can go to Hawaii,
Yeah. No, it'll never happen. Oh my goodness. There's nothing worse than picking up an extra shift. And then that shift comes.
Exactly.
You know what we started doing?
I did this to myself.
I made a joke about this in a video, but we really did this. We would split shifts, and then we would split between like 3. So like we would come in and we would work, 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and then somebody else would come in, and it was awesome.
Smart.
Just splitting 6 hours. A 6-hour day it takes 5 seconds. Like you come in, you clock in, you do meds, you do this, you chart, whatever. And it's better to come in on the second half, by the way. Everything's like basically done.
That is smart.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So
oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say they caught on to us, and you wouldn't get any bonuses or anything like that, even if you were whatever.
Ridiculous. You're like, we took the whole shift, okay? That's for us to divvy up. I know, they do get wise to it. I have long said that for short staffing, that they'll be like, oh, we're going to offer incentive shift. You're short 2 nurses, so now you qualify for emergency incentive or whatever the verbiage is that the hospital has. But I think what they should do is that they should offer that, but they should call it like a lubrication tax or something like that, where if like nobody picks that shift up, the lubrication tax goes out to everybody. Because if you're going to get bent over, you might as well get lubed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just divvy it among the people. Because you know what? We were too short no matter what. And when nobody took it, them saying, oh, well, we offered incentive to everybody else does not help me. But you know what does? A little lube.
I got another idea, okay? And that is bidding war, okay? Like, how much to take this shift? It's like I'll wait. How would you do that?
A little live auction.
Yeah. I guess it would have to be the management would have to start sending down. It's like, okay, we'll give you this much, and then it's like, no, okay, can I hear
but that's
this
just
much?
it. There's no
keep
incentive. There's no incentive for them to actually fill it. Like, they'll send it out or whatever, but like when people are burnt out and you don't have enough staff, they're like, screw that, man. Like, there's not enough money on the planet to get me to come in there. But then they can be like, well, we offered these incentive shifts and nobody picked it up. Like, well, yeah, because you need to hire more people. That's what that ultimately comes down to. But instead, what they leverage it as is they're like, well, you covered it. You guys were able to do it with 2 less staff than normal.
Yeah.
So we're going to change our core staffing. I'm like, that's BS, man. Like, that's how you get people to turn over. And it's super frustrating.
You want good reviews from the patients and the families, but you're not going to get that when they don't see the nurse all night, or because they're with their other patients. It doesn't make any sense.
Or they're sitting in the ER boarding because there's no rooms to admit people. Nobody likes that either. And then there's no rooms in the ER, and they're getting on the ER docs about patient satisfaction, and we don't want people to die in the lobby. Like, well, yeah, but they have to have a place to put them. Like, and then you talk about privacy. Like, how do you keep people private if you're doing hallway beds, or how do you keep, Oh,
yeah, I remember COVID. They didn't have anybody to bring the ER patients up, so it'd be like, all right, your guy is sitting up against the trash can by the elevator. Seriously. And it's like, all right.
Yes.
You go out there, and they're like holding their own binder. It's like, geez.
Yeah, it's just not great. Not great patient care, that's for sure.
This is a question I have. This is probably such a stupid question, but what do you do if like say you have to put in a Foley and someone's in the hallway? How does that happen? Like, how do you go about it? Yeah, like invasive procedures. Because we didn't have that, right? We didn't take patients if we didn't have a bed.
Yeah, so they made these, like, in our hospital, they made little places where they could, like, pull a curtain, so you could, like, wheel a bed over, and you could pull a curtain for privacy, and then when you're done, you take it out. So, like, we literally had a doctor doing, like, a digital disimpaction, like, in the freaking hallway. You know, like, I'm sorry the whole hospital smells like crap right now. This patient was FOS. Like, it just is what it is. Or, like, oh, I saw a butt cheek because the curtain moved because the doctor had to adjust something. Like, it's like, there is no privacy, and it sucks. Like, it's just, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
If you only see one butt cheek, you're lucky if you only see one butt cheek.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I've been enjoying watching The Pit, because it just takes me right back, man. I'm like right
Isn't
there.
It so good. I told you it was really good.
I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I've never seen it.
You should check it out.
You should check it out.
It's the busman's holiday. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what's it called? The bus driver's holiday? Okay, if a bus driver goes on a vacation, he doesn't want to take the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it makes sense. And that's kind of how I felt about it. But I'm like, I've been away from it long enough, like where I actually miss it. So,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna watch it and see. And it is like, it feels pretty dang spot on, you know, to how it is. But
What's Scrub Laddie, the creator? His name's Brock. Anyway, he made a video of that. He said coming home from a rough shift, and your wife wants to like watch The Pit. And
oh yeah. No, exactly.
Know,
like if you're too close to it, you just can't. You know, that's that mental health side. You got to just be able to take the break.
I told myself, and I told my job, like, you know, we do on call every once in a while, but it's not a big deal. That means you might have to go to like one house, but as far as like picking up shifts and working on the weekends and doing all that kind of stuff, I just said no, because I like this job and I don't want to ruin it like I did my old job by, you know, burning myself out.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
I forgot at the end of that, after quitting at my old job, they had a little meeting with me, and they called, and I talked to like everybody was on the phone that could be on the phone, and they said that they would give me extra pay, a significant amount of extra pay. They would also have me just training like one of the college's local TU college students that came to. I would just train them one day instead of actually working on the floor. They were doing everything. They were gonna, you know, whatever I wanted, and they were like, "You are the fourth floor. We can't do it without you." And I said, "Boom!" Right there. I was like, "That is why I can't come back, because that's ridiculous to say one person is the floor and you can't do it without them." So,
well, I think that's the, you know, they say stuff like that, but then like here's the reality, Josh. You had visceral symptoms going on in you, where you're feeling it, like the real burn in your body, and like that can manifest as a heart attack, you know, or whatever, and your life can be cut short by the stress and strain of that job. And if you die, how long before your posting goes up for that position? Your FTE is probably posted the same day.
Yeah.
You know, and
dude,
like, it's just not worth it.
It's like whenever I always think about that, like when you go through like this crazy thing, you catch somebody, it's like, this guy's about to, you know, he's about to drop, like something, he's about to code, something's about to happen. You catch it, it happens, like you get in there, you do all the work, and then you walk out, and you got them either transferred to ICU or whatever, and they're like, all right, good job. Okay, ER's calling with your patient to fill that room, like just automatically, and it's like, no, like.
Yeah, no downtime.
That's the worst. Yeah, home health, that's my sweet spot.
I think you found the unicorn job, man, for you. Like,
oh yeah, love it.
That's the right place to be.
Work-life balance. I can take my kids to school if they're having something going on. I can do that. If I can't get to the dentist though. That's my one problem. Seriously, every time I schedule a dentist appointment, I've canceled so many dentist appointments that the last one they canceled. My wife's like they're like. It's like the girlfriend knowing you were going to break up. They broke up first. And I was like, yeah, seriously. Like I canceled like 5 appointments, and So I can't figure that out. I don't know. That was the best part about working in the hospital, was basically having Monday through Friday off to do stuff. I don't know how normal people get anything done. I used to make a lot of videos.
It is nice to be able to like go shopping and do stuff when other people are at work. Like, I love that about working the weekend and stuff. Like, you're like, I'm at work when everybody is off, and I'm at home doing whatever I want to when everybody is at work.
Oh yeah,
and it feels pretty nice. Like, you feel like you have this freedom. And then and then now you have to go do something on the weekend, and it's busy, and you're like,
it's so weird. Or it's
I hate
like,
it.
For us now, it's like going outside. You ever drive in the dark? It's weird. It's real dark out there.
Night's a very dark time for me.
When I used to work night shift, and I'd be coming home, and I'd be riding on the highway, and there's no one going this way where I'm going, and the other side's like backed up traffic, and I'm like, oh yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so I think we're about done. I was just hoping that we can ask you a couple more quick questions.
So if you had to tell one story to like prepare them on what to expect, like something that maybe they're not expecting that you've encountered.
I guess you never know what's going to happen. So you never want to assume. I had a patient who was 32 years old and was there for something, very benign, and was planning to be discharged. 32 years old. His biggest deal was he was overweight and diabetic. And I don't want to say we like ignored him, but we didn't pay as much attention to him as we would at anybody else. He was supposed to wear CPAP before he went to bed. He fell asleep without his CPAP because we were supposed to call respiratory, and we work night shift. We call them when it's closer to bedtime. Most people don't go to sleep like, 9, 10 o'clock. It's usually later. And I remember I had just gone through, looked at him, said hi to him. No big deal. Next thing I know, somebody's screaming. He had fell asleep. His sleep apnea had killed him in his sleep. 32 years old, just God. Boom, just like that. So one of the things that unfortunately nursing does is it makes you have to think what's the worst that can happen in every situation, yes. Unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And that is, it's going to flow over into your regular life. And you're going to
Isn't
think
that the truth?
Semi-negatively about every situation. What's the worst that can happen? So be prepared for anything. You never, even if you think this is a healthy fella, nothing's going to happen. You never know. Just, yeah, I guess
that's so true. And you talk about it spills over into your real life. Can I tell you, as a ER nurse and coming off of being in the ER for so long, I couldn't believe the cortisol dump that I had and adrenaline dump that I had coming off of it. Like, even a month after, you just see everything. Like, you can catastrophize everything. Yeah. Because, with your kids, you're like, don't jump on a trampoline because I've seen horrible tib-fib fracture or head injury, or don't ride your bicycle because, normal things that kids do. Like, kids do dangerous things carefully a lot. Like, it's part of being a kid. Mm-hmm. It's a developmental stage is to do dangerous things, but to be careful at them so that they don't get hurt. And you want them to do that. But man, I've had such bad adrenaline dump afterwards because you see the craziest, worst of the worst. And you don't want to make your kids fearful to do anything. You want them to still be kids. So, yeah. But being a nurse is hard. I mean, it messes with your brain sometimes.
Oh yeah, my wife is like, I'm not a negative thinker. I'm a realistic thinker, right?
Yeah.
It could,
These things happen to real people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will never forget the first time that I had a little kid who fell out of a second-story window. We have a 2-story house. I would get anxiety when my kids were little about them being upstairs, near the windows, because I had a little girl push on a screen and fall out the window, and she was fine. That's the thing. She was fine. She didn't have anything. But I'm like, do you know what could have happened? She fell onto concrete, and she didn't break anything. She's scared. She's screaming her head off. Her mom's down in the kitchen doing the dishes. Next thing you know, she sees her 2-year-old fly out the freaking window.
Like a sitcom. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was so nuts. It gave me anxiety for weeks. I'm like, we have a 2-year-old. They could go flying out the freaking window. You just never know. Is the parent negligent? No.
No. we like going hiking, and we were thinking about. I told her, I was like, if we go to the Grand Canyon, like, I'm putting leashes on our boys. Like, I'm gonna be holding on. Like, and I was like, we like going hiking, and we were just at a lake hiking the other day, and one of my boys came to he throws a rock and almost slides down into the water, like off of a little, not very high. And I'm telling her, like, we're looking at pictures of places we're gonna go, and I'm like, can't we just go somewhere flat? Like, there's all these places. Like, this is so dangerous. And I was like, you are not afraid of our boys falling off cliffs at all, are you? And she goes, no. And I was like, you should be. Like, seriously, like that's all I think about.
Amen. I'm telling you, I got anxiety about that. We went to the Grand Canyon. Have you been to the Grand Canyon yet?
Yeah.
When we drove to the Grand Canyon, I remember driving up, and like, my kids are loud, right? Like, they talk a lot. They're very verbal. I love it about them. But we pull up to the Grand Canyon, and where you can actually see it, like with signs for miles before you ever actually see it. Mm-hmm. And the car went silent. Like, my kids are like looking out at this canyon and like, majesty. Holy cow, and appreciating the majesty of it all, because it really is majestic. And it shut my kids up. We don't shut up for anything. And I knew it was crazy. And then we get out of the car, and they want to walk super close to. I'm like, no, back up, like handholds. We're staying at a distance, because like, if you fall down there, you're dead, and I'm gonna jump off to save you, even though I know it's futile.
I will bruise my kid's hand. We've gone to like Weber's Falls and stuff, and like, you're looking, I mean, maybe like 3 feet that you have to walk with, and I'm holding his hand, and I literally, like, the next day I'll notice he's got a bruise on his hand because I'm holding it so tight. I can't help it,
It's called love, Josh. That's what that's called.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, I just don't want you to fall down.
I walked down, I was probably like 16, in good shape, of course. Like, I'm 16, and we went to Grand Canyon, and I walked down. You know how you can take the trail down? Yeah, I don't know if you know. You can walk down.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just go. And so I walked down. I probably walked for like 30 minutes, and I'm like looking for lizards, snakes, whatever. And it was amazing, by the way. I get down there, and at one point, like, I was like pretty exhausted, actually. And you stop, and it's so quiet. Like, you can like hear your body, that hum or whatever. And I'm just like looking, and it's just like a vulture's like flying through the air. It's amazing. Anyway, absolute silent. But anyway, then I start walking back up, and the 30-minute walk I just took down, the first like 5 minutes, I'm like, I don't think I can walk all the, like, it's so hot, and it's just like, and for a second, I got a little panicked that like something was going to happen. I wasn't going to make it all the way up, but I did, and I was just, covered in sweat. Yeah, the Grand Canyon is beautiful, but it's like, don't mess around over there.
No kidding, man. And nobody's coming for you if there's a problem.
There's like people who live in the Grand Canyon now. Apparently, are y'all on that side of TikTok?
Yeah, I am.
Yep, I'm on every side of TikTok except for political. Nothing there.
I try to avoid it, but somehow it still ends up in the feed. You
just gotta scroll.
I know.
Mark
That's the
it,
problem.
not interested.
You end up like staying like just a second too long, and it's in the feed.
I know. Like, I get.
I love conspiracy theories. I love going down all of them. I'm like,
we can start a whole new podcast if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm like, hit me.
You ever do ninjas or butterflies? The Wi-Fi.
Ninjas or.
You guys listen to podcasts?
I listen to some. I haven't listened to a lot. You'll have to send me a list of what you like. I'm happy to listen.
All right. Right now, shout out to Mr. Ballin, Ninjas or Butterflies, the Y-Files. Those are 3 of the best. And the Y-Files, you don't know who Mr. Ballin is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think he's got like 50 million followers or
Holy
something.
moly.
But the Y-Files it's one of the best shows. I guarantee that you will start seeing that. Like, I bet it'll get picked up by Hulu or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. It's just this guy, AJ, and he he goes on and he does, and I think the name is a play on the X-Files, except for it's the Y-Files, but it's WHY. Sure. And he just does really cool conspiracies, and he doesn't like cryptids, but he does a couple of those. He does some ghost stories and just like really cool stuff, but he does it in like a story. And then at the end he's like, he'll say like, that's a cool, story, but did it really happen? And then he goes through and says what, gives the facts, and I feel like a kid on Saturday morning every single time there's a new Y-Files. But
that's awesome. I'll have to check it out. No, I love that, man. Like when there's good storytelling, and like I'm always impressed by creators that can just like keep it fresh, keep it new. And I'm like, do you have this like whole like crazy team of people like writing your stuff? Like, and I think that like I'm watching your stuff. I'm like, dude, how many videos? Yeah, how many videos have you put out, Josh? Like, do you know?
1,200.
I mean, that's a lot of freaking content, man. To like,
if you think about the huddles, everybody wants. The comments are, "We want more huddles. We want more huddles," and I say, "I want more huddles too." But I have literally drained the nursing joke fountain. There is nothing more. No, I'm just kidding. But literally, I've made all the classics. Everything.
Well, you got to empty the Purewick out and recycle it, man.
That's gross. I thought of that, but no, I got lots of lists actually. If you take all those huddles that I've made, which is like close to 70, and if you think they're all about 2 minutes long, that's basically a full movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of work, and yeah, the people that you're talking about, they do have writers. They do have a lot.
Yeah, they must.
Yeah.
I just like, it's hard to be that creative, like I don't know. I feel like I've generally been able to like hold my own with conversations my whole life, and like I know Courtney's really good at like keep a conversation going. I feel like the creative juices can definitely run dry, and keeping it fresh is hard, and finding an idea that people will latch onto, I think, is the other part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've scrapped whole series. I had a series of it was the opposite of huddles, kind of. It was the manager going in and talking to a patient. I actually have the patient gown right there. I've never done it, and I have it all wrote out. But it's the manager going in and asking how the patient experience was, and then they would So it's my original idea for like doing the huddles was kind of like the what do you call it on Saturday Night Live, the news part of the Saturday Night Live.
Yes, the weekend update or no. Yeah.
I wanted to do something like that where basically I could just come in and say whatever. And so that's kind of where that day. I think you always think of stuff in the shower, I promise. And so, but it was going to be the opposite, and it was going to be the nurse manager comes in saying, "How was your, stay," or whatever, like, how sometimes they go around and they talk to the patient. And then the patient would report back like all the stuff that they hear because their room's right next to the nurse's station. And it was just going to be what they hear. And I've got, probably 3 of those like that I filled out or wrote down, and I just never did it. I don't know why. Don't have the time. I don't know. But yeah, just that I love doing that. I love writing these jokes. I could never be like a stand-up comic or something. I couldn't stand in front of you.
Yeah, but you got your own little like piece of Saturday Night Live, like just in what you do. And I know you said that was like always kind of like a dream to do something like that. And
yeah,
you're doing it, man.
I appreciate that. It's great. I love it. I wish I could do it full time, And this, I want to do a podcast too. That's the order of things, You make some videos, and then you get a little older, and then you turn it into a podcast. So everybody else does.
It's because we take longer to tell our stories. Can't do short form anymore. Gotta pull out the. The problem is though with content is like if I tell a group of students the same story a million times, it's fine because I don't have to remember it. But if you tell the internet the same story a million times, is that problematic?
Yeah, I think it was is like Nate Bargatze and Dusty Slay. I think they were talking about it on their podcast, and they were saying like, I think it was Dusty Slay. If you guys know who I'm talking about, comedians. Mm. And they're like, you go on like one of these like benefits or whatever, and he said there was like a musician, and like real famous musician. He's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, I'm going to go out here and play the same song I've played, 100,000 times. And it's like, and then the comedian's got to go he just did that one stand up one time for all these people. Now he's got to go write a whole another 30 minutes. Like, it's like, It's so hard. It's completely different. And I can't write stand up. I've tried it. That might be one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Yeah, I would think it's just like so tough to stay relevant and like keep it new and fresh. And man,
even if you write a good joke, you have to have good delivery. Like it doesn't matter. Like part of my thing is I made it easy for myself doing that like dry Huddle thing, because I just like turn it off. I just kind of act like no emotion, because I'm dead inside at the Huddles. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the thing. So I just made it easy for myself.
One of my favorite sketches is that you did was where you're like, when you show up to the hospital on your off day and you're like all bright and cheery and like nobody recognizes you.
Yeah.
And then you like ruffle your hair and like put a stethoscope on. You're like, hey. And they're like, hey, how's it going? It's so true. It's such a phenomenon. Like people do not recognize you in your own hospital if you're actually like got your pep in your step and you're not in scrubs.
I think that's probably based on me actually seeing someone going, hey, you can't come back here. And it's like, what's up, Kelly, or whatever. It's like, oh, I know who you are.
Sorry, you had makeup on and you were wearing regular clothing. I didn't recognize you.
I didn't recognize all the hope in your eyes.
I wanted to ask you about this stink bomb. Is this your company? Is this somebody that you know's company? Is this a real product?
So when you make videos on TikTok or whatever, you get a million. Some of them are real. Some of them are, these weird affiliate things you have to sign up for. But you open your inbox every single day, and it's like, oh, do you want to? Your videos are perfect for this, and you look at it, and it's like face cream or something. But then stink bomb is perfect because it is a real. And I mean, it is. I barely take any advertising, but stink bomb, I really use it. Like it's made by nurses. It's made by a nurse, and you have a stinky job. So you put it on your nose.
So true.
It smells like Christmas, and it helps. It's not perfect, and everybody always says, well, you just use like, what is it? Vicks.
Peppermint oil.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, stuff like
and
that.
masks.
It's like, okay, or you can use something that actually smells awesome and is made for it. I don't want to smell Vicks all day either. But anyway, so yeah, just
that's awesome.
We got into contact with each other, and I
loved
it. And I said, okay, I will actually do this.
Well, at least you're getting offers, right?
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, it's cool because I like stink bomb, and even if they didn't want to like sponsor, I'd still do it probably. Like, just they're cool.
Well, and it's a product you actually use. So, like, I feel like if you got something like that where it's like, this is a good product, it does something for me, it helps me in my job. Like, I think that's pretty cool to be able to do that. So, and if you can sponsor them, and it sounds like it's another nurse, right? You're helping another nurse. That's pretty cool.
Go to stinkbombodorBlocker.com/Josh, and you'll use the code Josh10, and you get 10% off, and you give your nose a break. That's the thing. Yeah.
Amazing.
I love it. Give your nose a break. That's so awesome, man. Well, hey, Josh, it's been super awesome to have you here with us on Crashcart Nursing. Really appreciate you taking the time. And, I know that we may not be your target market as far as somebody that's going to help your channel, but I will tell you this, I know you're going to help ours, and I hope that we can repay the favor. But I really appreciate you coming out on the podcast today and sharing some time with us. Look forward to working with you again in the future.
Hey, please. Yeah, this was fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, nurses, that wraps up this episode of Crashcart Nursing. I'm so glad you came. I hope you found today's discussion helpful as you continue your journey in nursing. Have a question, a topic request, or just want to share a nursing story? Reach out on any platform you like best. Links are in the bio. See you in the next episode.
Giving up on everything and everyone around you.